Hi, I'm Brian Fuller, Editor-in-Chief at ARM, and we're at Embedded World 2023 in Nuremberg, Germany, and with me is Josh Norem from Silicon Labs. Josh, tell us a little bit about yourself before we dive into Q&A.
I'm a security systems engineer, which means a lot of my focus is on how we make sure our parts make our end customers secure, right? Not just how the part itself works, but how that translates into the security of the end product.
Let's talk a little bit about the importance of IoT security. I mean, the IoT landscape is a complex one, and that makes this security challenge all the more challenging.
Yeah, it's very difficult. And to add on top of that, like a lot of the value of the IoT is its scale and its integration into all the different aspects of our lives. And if you want that to happen, you need trust. And if you want trust, things have to be secure, right? People have to have faith that using these products, they're gonna behave like you want them to behave. So security plays a huge part in that. It's a very difficult challenge in that sort of fractured landscape.
And now we're getting to the point, because of this fractured landscape, the importance of certification around security and IoT was growing and growing. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, if you think about 4 or 5 years ago, every single vendor was talking about security in a different way. It made it very hard to understand. It made it almost impossible to actually compare what one vendor was doing against another. And certification, especially something like PSA, right, is needed to establish a common language, a common way for us to discuss security, and a common way for us to measure sort of what each product is bringing to the market and what each system is trying to achieve. Without that, it becomes almost impossible to solve that problem.
So a lot of your products are PSA certified. And why did you go that route? And what value do you find in it?
Well, one of the really nice things about PSA is when it was being developed, the industry had a lot of input. All of us silicon vendors got to play a part in that. And that means that PSA speaks in a language that's very useful for our products and for our market. And so when we were looking at how do we communicate the value that our products bring to our customers and how do we have that conversation in a clear way, PSA was a very obvious choice because it fits so well for what we were doing. We're proud that we were the first 2.4 gigahertz and sub-gigahertz product certified at PSA Level 3, which is no easy task. Like, there's a lot that goes into that.
So earlier you used the phrase enabling trust. Talk a little bit about how your customers are embracing the idea of PSA certified.
Trust starts with communication, right? If we aren't speaking the same language, if we don't have a good frame of reference, then it's really hard to trust and understand what the other person's saying. One of the really nice things about PSA is it sets some boundaries. So if you're going to be PSA Level 3 certified, you have to care about physical attacks. So you don't just get to remove those from the protection profile and then get scored well because they're out of scope. And so things like that sort of paint a very clear picture, let everyone know what to expect, and then of course the certification itself shows that you're meeting those expectations. And it's a great foundation for building that trust and being able to show what products can do and how people should be able to use them.
So a lot of people out here are considering PSA certification, no doubt. Talk a little bit about some of the other benefits that Silicon Labs has seen by going through this process.
One of the big benefits is the ability to reuse information in certification. So for example, we as an IC goes through PSA certification, gather a lot of data. Well, if you're using our IC and you're reusing our libraries, that's a lot of content that you already have. Whether you're going for PSA certification of your own or a different type of certification, there's a nice baseline to start from and to reduce the amount of work OEMs need to do.
Well, Josh, thanks so much for your time. I hope you have a great show.
Yeah, you as well. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.